Alright, welcome back to Bastion, so let's try to smoke some of that dank kush.
Just one drag.
Oh, I guess that could have gone better. Well, that just gives us the occasion to learn about the backstory of one of our characters, specifically the kid himself. Now, this is a case of tell, don't show. We don't get any visual, because the way structure is that this is a horde mode. You have to survive 20 rounds, while the narrator rewards you in each round by telling the player, in our case, what is the backstory of the kid. So don't worry, there's nothing to see here, and I say this because while not seizure-inducing, the screen for some of the sequence, in order to give that esoteric effect, has this weird filter applied to it that can get a bit distracting. It, again, for me, it doesn't do anything in particular, but I can imagine it's not particularly pleasant to look at for prolonged periods of time. So, for all intents and purposes, just listen to what the narrator has to say.
Moment's rest since all this started.
The reward is lore.
Thank you, wise narrator.
I do get what you mean. They wash out the colors here to give that sense that you're on a different
I wouldn't even call it
existence.
desaturation, because there's still some color, so it's not Zack Snyder taking over the wheel.
Nah, it's like if in a water painting you put in a shade over it, which kind of washed out some of the colors, basically.
Whoop. Okay.
Whoop! Thank goodness space is warped and time is bendable enough to bring you hurtling back down like a Looney Tunes character.
Alive. Supposing what he says in his sleep ain't no lie.
Well, I guess you can say that. Again, the narrator will reward with a few lines after every round that you survive, that is. And each round, and each of these particular gauntlet consists of specific enemies of the area that you faced so far. So you don't really get technically new surprises, just a bit of remixing. It's classic stuff.
He never knew his old man, but he had his mama to take care of. Frail thing with pure white hair like his.
So yeah, staple of Ceylondia, having, you know, hair as white as that. You also are accompanied by this particular somber music because pretty much each of the characters' backstories is tragic in some kind of manner.
Having his mama's hair did the kid no favors while he was growing up, but he learned to hold his own.
He was still bullied apparently by it.
I'm wondering if, like, those with white hair were seen as unnatural.
We don't know, but definitely still got some bully, similar to how Spock got it in Star Trek 2009, just because, you know, his mother was human.
School ain't working out, so the kid signs up for a turn on the rippling walls. Make his mama.
Okay, now that's fucked up. It's like, yeah, just because I'm bullied at school, I'm joining basically the military. Jesus. We truly do live in a society. Also, after every few rounds, you do get some refills, so don't worry about running out.
Ceylondia is safe from whatever's out there. The elements, the Ura, you name it.
Yeah, remember, when the kids joined in the people who were defending the borders of Ceylondia, they were still at the wars with the Ura. Obviously, something happened to end that war, so right now the kid doesn't have any particular grudges. He's just, you know, a job's a job.
Turns out his mama's time was done too.
Oh.
This is depressing.
Yeah, it is, you know,
boy.
it is kind of a staple. While not all the fucking time, it is also a bit of a staple for Supergiant. A lot of their games do revolve around having some degree of tragedy to the characters, either for their backstory, the way they end in the present in the story, or both. I cannot speak for all of them, especially because it involves obvious spoilers for obvious reasons, but it is recurring thing.
Home was nowhere to be found either.
Needless to say, again, like I said, the kid works from the kid hails from the Doom Marine school of thought of never speaking but letting his action speak, and now when we learn this backstory, we can understand why he prefers to do this, because he was, you know, brutally forged by how terrible the world around him
Why
was.
went right on back to the walls for another 5 years.
I hope you made some friends there at least.
It gives me some Crash Bandicoot vibes, specifically Rapid Cortex.
Huh. Interesting,
Which,
because
you know,
the composer for that was the staple one of Traveler's Tales.
Interesting, yeah, like, for all the issues Rapid Cortex had, the soundtrack was not one. Absolute sublime bliss.
In the history of Caelondia, nobody's ever volunteered for a second shift on the walls.
10 reflections remain.
Halfway through. It is kind of interesting how the soundtracks of the Crash games went all over the place, you know. Tribal, electric, then more stylized, and then a cappella for a couple of games.
Yeah, honestly, I did like what Spiral Mouth did. It definitely leaned into that island vibe, especially with the theme of Insanity Island. And later on, the Tag Team Racing would combine the acapella with instrumentals, which was cool. Because yeah, Insanity is completely just acapella, no instrumentals apparently, which is amazing how much that has fooled some people into thinking there were instruments used. Of course, that's always the mark of good acapella. So this is what smoking that dang kush is like, fighting for your life.
Bad trip. Everyone gets one at some point.
In time, the kid earned good standing with the marshals. They trusted him to scout out farther than anybody.
So yeah, turns out...
so he's Bumblebee.
Kinda. And again, turns out that, you know, volunteering a second time for what essentially is a shitty job, you know, refined his skills.
Refuge in the adversity.
And also potential natural talent. You also have to watch out because some of the enemies that you defeat, as you can see, make the ground collapse.
One night, on one of his expeditions, the ground beneath him shuddered, cracked, and split apart.
Getting close. Yeah, unfortunately the gas fellas tend to literally absorb a lot of, you know, hits, so melee weapons would be more recommended, but as you can see, just getting close to them is a bit of a chore. I was trying to push one of them out
reward and all that.
Out of the hole, but what can you do about it?
You saw nothing where the world used to be.
So yeah, the calamity happened while he was unconscious, and that's why when he woke up was in a different place.
I will say another thing about these devs is that despite, you know, the horrors that are in their games, they're very memorable visually.
They definitely put a sense of identity to each of them.
All the kid had to work with was his hammer and the clothes on his back.
Like I said, again, I genuinely need to give another try to Transistor because I really was turned off by the gameplay, but the visuals were very interesting, old school cyberpunk kind of stuff. And Pyre only gave it a brief look in the meantime, and well, it is quite something. It's a fantasy that it's the fantasy equivalent to a Bloodsport,
Through
kind
twisted
of.
streets, he ran with nothing but the city crest and an old stranger's voice to guide him.
It's a bit complicated, you know, I'll definitely need to, you know, work around that. And ADs, obviously, having taken inspiration from, you know, Greek mythology, obviously is branch deep into the aesthetic and the tragedies involved, although putting its own spin into things.
Fair enough.
It's generally best to obviously conserve the abilities for the later rounds for obvious reasons, or at least not to spam them immediately, because otherwise you might run into this situation where you run dry and you have way too many strong enemies ahead.
Will have finally arrived at Caelondia's vaunted safe haven. He and no one else.
3 remaining.
A lonely venture it ended up.
You can also do these anytime you want, by the way. Even if you fail them, you can just repeat them anytime you want. So, you know, I'm just doing these now because it's the timing and I'm confident in my skill, but otherwise you can just wait until you have upgraded yourself and or the weapons to what you are more comfortable with.
Mind the mess, boys. My mind's meant to be a sturdy temple.
All he got was more thankless work from a man who ain't even asked his name.
I mean, when you put it like that, I don't know.
I just hate it when that happens. You're doing a boss, you're fighting a boss, but then your mind just suddenly flips to reflecting on your past.
I mean, depends on the circumstances, Liz. Like, if you're in the Psychonaut universe, that can happen, in fact.
Yes, it can.
Almost there.
Sure, I may be the one who dreamt up the walls and the Bastion, but the kid made them real. Not me.
1 remaining. Of course it's Piff. Oh, and another gas panda. And actually 2. Forgot. You can also use, there you go, the sky bridges to jump from one corner of the arena to the other, or some tactical retreats if you want. The problem is that I still need to watch my step.
Be careful not to fall.
Yes. Whoa, my head's spinning.
What a wild ride.
Look at all those big robots.
I'll take care of them.
Well, I guess
Speaking of which,
the Piff model comes the closest to be, you know, a robot construct.
hey, it reminds me of
Here you
Black
go.
Bull.
I'd like to say I'll never forget him, or what he's doing, what he's done. I surely would.
Reflection complete.
That's-
And you get a lot of experience points to, you know, reward.
Nice, so you get lore, a nice little gauntlet essentially, and plenty of rewards to go off of it.
Kid, are you okay?
And that still made you Where did you fall? You smoked and then you just went out of existence.
It was out of the deepest recesses of the mind.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think I need a drink. Or maybe not.
Yeah, let's see. I just had a nasty drug trip. This alcohol will help me feel better.
There you go. Alright, let's get some more upgrades before moving on. Let's see.
Just to recap, is it about if you can only have like a set amount of weapons on hand, or can you technically wheel through them all at any
No,
point?
you have a loadout. You can carry 2 at a time plus an ability, but if there is an armory in the level, you can swap at that point. But they're not as common as you know, you would hope. So
I'm guessing the overall idea then is, you know, obviously a ranged and a melee weapon to have
It's
the
the
best
best.
of both
Yeah,
worlds.
you can experiment with whatever you want, by the way. You know, you can take 2 melee or 2 ranged if you want, and the narrator will have a commentary for each type of loadout you equip. They about to have 1 line recorded for each of them. It is quite impressive.
This narrator definitely feels in depth by this game's standards again. I mean, obviously not to the level of something like, say, Baldur's Gate 3, but I could totally see this game going to the Game Awards, you know, for the narrator at least.
The narrator for Baldur's Gate 3 had to go through miles upon, you know, of lines to read. Like, props to her for being a trooper of that. I'm also especially glad that they actually kept the bloopers to, you know, for everyone to hear about because they're so amazing.
Yes, more games should do this, please.
Like, the casts really seem like they genuinely enjoyed their time working on it.
Yeah, like, aren't they still technically working on that game for some more
I
expansions?
think it's done
too?
because the team is supposedly now doing the new Divinity game when their CEO is trying not to make a fool out of himself, but hey, what can you do about it?
By saying
God,
stupid shit, and that stupid shit being misleading, and then he's saying more stupid shit.
It's unbelievable! Like, my dude, your studio was getting.
Anyway, of course I aced it the first try. How could you tell?
Yeah.
Jealousy is a bad sentiment to have, Shiro. Alright.
Only certain range.
Mind you, well, yeah, like I only managed to put this one at the first try, to be fair. Like, for all of the other ones I have to try way too many times that you're not seeing, and for some I didn't even do, so, you know, I'm just good at some things and not all of them. But I got a decent ability that I'm gonna pretty much keep for the rest of the game, one that allows me to fire a lot of shots in quick succession with a musket, which, you know, it's always appreciated. So, let's see, where to next?
That's the scrapyard.
Right, the approving ground from the Horde Hammer while we're at it. Surprisingly, this is not the first one you get. For being the kid's signature weapon, they let you wait a bit before they allow you to properly, you know, try to test yourself with it. Basically, it's a simple concept. Destroy everything, you know, that there is, I think either in the limited amount of time, yeah, in the least amount of time possible. Obviously, it's better if you use your abilities, particularly the rolling around one. But again, I never particularly care too much about the hammer. When I will get my hands on a specific melee weapon, I will keep that instead, and I'm just carrying it because, you know, it's the best alternative until then. But to be fair, it's not even my least favorite of a melee weapon. It is a good time overall, and it gives the kid a bit of a signature look, particularly also with the color contrast in his attire.
A good day smashing can feed a family for a week. Ever want to just smash things for a while? You know where to go.
Thank you, narrator. Thank you.
Smash things for a while. Yeah, Smash Brothers.
Yeah, sadly Smash. But yeah, when in the next part we'll properly resume our search for the other missing cores, so see you for that.
See ya.
Ta-ra.
See ya.